your Houston Texans, they get both Iowa State receivers, Jayden Higgins, Jaylin Noel, Nick Caserio. Have yourself a day. Let's go. And you sandwich that by getting some O-line help in Aireontae Ersery. I mean, what a start to this draft by your Texans. They trade out of round one, and everybody's freaking out. Oh, my God, they didn't get Connerly Jr. They didn't get Simmons. And they get a draft haul like this on day two. This is why the Texans don't draft in day one, because they are value merchants. They get the best value in the draft out of anybody. Everybody talks about Howie Roseman. Everybody talks about the Philadelphia Eagles and how great their front office is and how amazing they are at getting value for their picks. I'll tell you this, though. The Houston Texans, Nick Caserio, do just as good, if not more, in getting some great value for their picks. Now, the Texans so far, they've absolutely killed it in my opinion. Let me know in the comments section, how do you think the Houston Texans have done so far in this draft? Give it a grade, A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, I'm giving it an A. I think maybe I'm too high on it. Maybe I'm just thinking too highly. Maybe I just have my glasses on. I mean, I think the Texans draft is an A+ so far. Let me know down in the comments section how you think Nick Caserio, this Texans front office, have done so far. I think it's been an amazing draft for the Houston Texans, and I'm going to go ahead and break down each of the first three picks for your Houston Texans. First up, let's talk Jayden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State. I'll be saying that a couple times in this video as they get these 6'4.5" long, lanky, field stretcher wide receiver with great hands. I absolutely love what he brings to the table for the Houston Texans. He is somebody who's going to immediately come in and help this wide receiver room, which automatically just got a huge upgrade with the Texans here in this draft. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say on Jayden Higgins. Higgins is an ascending height, weight, speed athlete with the physicality and catch radius to be a productive NFL starter as he continues developing his route release precision. His game is similar to what Nico Collins put on tape in Michigan. I mean, you're telling me we get another Nico Collins? Yeah. Sign me up. Sign me up today for another Nico Collins. I'm perfectly okay with the pick of Jayden Higgins if he turns out into half of what Nico Collins is right now. I think he comes in immediately, is another outside receiver, and as I'm going to break down later on in today's show, you have multiple receivers that you just added to this room that's going to immediately step up the competition and help C.J. Stroud out. This was the wide receiver room coming into today, which I will say this. Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie, Watson, everybody on this receiving depth chart besides Nico Collins and Christian Kirk, watch out. Tank Dell, obviously, he's injured. He probably won't play this season. The rest of this wide receiver room needs to watch out because the Texans just got a couple amazing guys in Jayden Higgins and Jaylin Noel. Our draft expert, Tom Downey, had this to say on Jayden Higgins. Great in contested catch spots due to his radius, size, and catch. Great hands with only 3 drops over the last 2 seasons. Not a quick route runner, but a savvy one. The number 9 wide receiver for our guy, Tom Downey. We're going to break down the other 2 picks the Texans made in this draft so far, but I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing friends over at Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. I love Prize Picks. You should love Prize Picks too, because, hey, no one's doing it better than Prize Picks. You can now win up to 2,000 times your cash over on Prize Picks, and you can get all of your winnings in and cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss out on the last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Hey, the Rockets. I'm trying to make some money while watching the Rockets. All you got to do, pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And this is from our Warriors host, which I know, boo him down in the comments section. this was the lineup that he has. He has more on the Draymond Green rebounds and assists. F Draymond's in the comment section. Brandon Pajemski, he has a more than 14 points. And Alperen Şengün, he made one smart pick right here. More than 19.5 points for my guy Şengün. You can use his picks. You can go against them. Just do it over on Prize Picks today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So get started today with our friends over at Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, let's talk Aireontae Ersery, a guy who's going to come in and immediately help this offensive line room. Multiple scouts have said he is one of the sleepers at tackle in this draft and was getting some round one buzz closer and closer to the NFL draft. This is what expert Dane Brugler had to say on him. Ersery has the size, strength, and movement talent to become an NFL starting tackle. If his timing angles and overall consistency continue to improve with pro coaching, it might be a bumpy ride as he transitions early to the next level. I think regardless of what he's got to say about Ersery, I think it was a good pick. Tom Downey, our draft expert, had him as the number 6 tackle overall, 45 overall, so right there where the Texans selected him. Massive frame with decent athletic ability for his size. Built like a power gap run blocker, but actually fared better on the move. Stiff at times and runs into leverage issues, which, okay, you're not going to get a perfect offensive lineman, obviously, on day 2 of the draft, but somebody who you can develop and really add to this offensive line room. I don't know where he starts. Maybe he starts at left guard day 1. From what I've heard, it doesn't sound like he is somebody who is a tackle guard flex. A lot of people like him as a tackle only. Do you put him behind Cam Robinson to learn for a year and hopefully step in as the left tackle of the future? Or do you let him play left guard for this year and then move him to that left tackle spot? Either way, I like the move of this with the Texans. They're getting a high upside guy. Todd McShay said in 2029 we could look back and Aireontae Ersery could be the best tackle from this draft. Now, Todd McShay, he's not right on everything. His word's not the gospel, but he's been doing it long enough to where I kind of listen when guys like that perk up and say, hey, I really like this pick for the Houston Texans. And speaking of really liking this pick, the latest pick, they double dip at wide receiver. Jaylin Noel, wide receiver from Iowa State. Shout out to the Texans 22 podcast. I know Josh, I know Leo are going nuts right now. Jaylin Noel is going to step in. He might even be better than Jayden Higgins day 1. I freaking love this guy. I mean, he is an absolute beast. Jaylin Noel is a guy who's going to be a downfield stretcher, 14.9 yards per reception, 8 touchdowns, almost 1,200 yards on the year. I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing. And I really like adding him in round 3 alongside his teammate in Jaden Higgins. This is what our draft expert Tom Downey had to say. Undersized, speedy wide receiver who can pull away from DBs but won't break a lot of tackles. Mostly a slot wide receiver, but had some reps on the outside and improved each season. Didn't offer a ton of yards after the catch. I think, maybe the yak ability needs a little bit of improvement, but I still think Jaylin Noel is going to come in and help this team out tremendously. I absolutely love what the Texans have done so far, and they still have, a ton more picks to go in this draft. And so far, this is what the Texans front office, this is what Nick Caserio and company has been able to get out of this year's draft. Jayden Higgins, wide receiver from Iowa State. Aireontae Ersery, offensive lineman from Minnesota. And then Jaylin Noel, wide receiver from Iowa State. I absolutely love the picks so far. I want to know down in the comment section, who do you want to draft next? Who do you think the Texans need to pick? I could go over who's left right now on the big board here that we have at Chat Sports, some of the best available. Here we go. Xavier Watts is still on the board. I don't know if the Texans need a safety. Marcus Bow, who I thought might have been the pick right there. I still think he could possibly be a pick right there for you later on. Jack Sawyer, the edge rusher. Texans, they're still looking at defensive tackle, so maybe they get one of those guys. Jared Wilson, I thought maybe that could be the pick here, but he's still on the board. Later on, Cameron Williams, Noel Williams as well. And then, they've been looking at running backs. And I believe, Jaden Blue, Rashard Smith, still on the board. I know they've been looking at defensive tackles, so I do want to scroll over to that really quick. Our best defensive tackles, they did meet with Joshua Farmer. This is a name you got to keep in mind whenever the Texans' next pick is coming up. Joshua Farmer is somebody who they brought in for a top 30 visit. I think they could definitely be looking in his direction if he's on the board for their next selection. Now, I'm going to be back later on. Sorry, I haven't been able to do videos for every single pick. It's been crazy here at the Chat Sports Studios, trying to vie for, studio position, rubbing elbows. I'm producing myself right now. I don't even have a producer. I'm producing this one-man show style myself. And if you don't subscribe for that, I don't know what else I can do for you. I'm trying to bring you the most Texans content I possibly can. If you want me to get a producer in the future, maybe a live show on draft day, go down and hit that subscribe button. Help me out and join the #1 Texans channel here on YouTube.